Okay, hello and welcome, viewers. My name is Tom Temporal. I am a analyst for a bunch of League of Legends teams. I previously coached private clients and teams, either for solo queue, like Fives Ladder, or Newell, or that sort of tournament. As part of an effort to not go completely insane during quarantine, I've decided to start producing YouTube content. And because flying in at the deep end is just the way I like to do things, I decided I would review every single game of the EU Masters group stage. Thankfully, I've avoided all spoilers and not spent too much time on Twitter. So I'm going into this completely blind. I've never watched any of the teams involved before. I've not watched any of the qualifiers. I've had a brief rundown of the list of players, so some veterans and some new, on some of the rosters, so I have a few things to look out for. I'm going to critique each draft compared to what I think is the optimal outcome for each team. But this is done without information, so there is always that qualifier on top. And without any further ado, I guess I will watch through this VOD of the first game between Movie Star Riders and Schalke 4 Evolution, and let's see what they managed to do. I'm going to watch about a slightly quicker speed. There's no need to watch all of it. Big shout out to Extranger and Foxdrop. I think they're both fantastic. We're going to see. LeBlanc on one is fine. Senna on red side, surprise, surprise. Akali. Callista. And set on the last ban. Trundle on one is fine. The champion is already slated for nerfs next patch. Is a fine first pick in the jungle. Can flex, but nearly strictly shouldn't at the moment. Syndra Lee Sin. It's a reasonable blind combo on its own. Oh, it's going to be Ornn instead of Saraka. You can see Ornn Varus again, quite safe. Bot lane does just seem to be Varus or something that has a useful ult for other people at the moment. There is not a great priority for things other than Varus Misfortune, Starving Senna, Ashe sort of things. Gangplank to finish off the first round. Gangplank is a fine response to the Ornn. Gets essentially a free lane to farm and scale, as Ornn will never quite kill him or really exert that sort of pressure. See Kench on one, the Leona on two. Kench commonly paired with Varus, very standard bot lane on the current patch. This is all quite safe and standard so far. So maybe Thresh setting up some sort of misfortune for Schalke. So 4 supports out of the pool in the last set. You can see Yuumi picked up. That's fine. An Ezreal middle would be quite interesting. Orianna for the middle. Definitely fine on this patch. Good combination with Trundle. 2v2s really well. Just about when Lee Sin wants to 2v2. and the completely broken mess that is Bard would make a reasonably good pick 5. Yeah. Bard also slightly overtuned at the moment. And an Ezreal to finish off. So there is some threat onto the Bard from the Ezreal Yuumi, but that's a later on problem. So, like, final closing on this would be very standard. The Orianna is maybe the one thing you wouldn't expect to see. Instead, could have gone for Azir. Maybe Movistar Riders don't play it. But then again, there is not much walk up on the side of Schalke 4. They are sort of mid-range, moving in with Syndra and Gangplank sort of when they need to, and then when they don't, they're not there. Ezreal with a longer range. The Azir could have been reasonably obnoxious, but otherwise this is quite safe and standard. So many supports going missing before the last phase when both supports were picked. When does the game start? So probably line of scrimmage both sides, he says as they do it. It's not surprising, very common at the moment. It has been a little while since the favourite strategy of all run through one point and hope to pick someone off. What else have we got? The Bard has lots of options for runes. I think Guardian is fine. I don't really know the difference between that and some of the others. Bard tends to do the same thing no matter what you do with that. Tempo and Ezreal is definitely fine. Slow push for Orianna maybe in the middle is completely fine. Ricochet off the tower at a time when Lee Sin can't respond. Yuumi does Yuumi things. Pushing in against Binsu in top. I guess he'll lose 2 or 3 to the tower that he couldn't respond with. Goes 10 to 10. That's fine. So the casters are mentioning cleanse. If the 2v2 is like required, then sure. But otherwise I don't think necessary. Trundle does hold priority. Bot lane all the way up there. Can just do what he wants in the river, with Lee Sin not able to contest. He's going to base on 4 and try and contest top crab, most likely. Sleeping will have bounced back off the tower by then. Interesting base for the... So, Ariana's gone for the potions. Sorry, corrupting potion option with the runes. Just getting some magic resistance seal is probably fine. If you don't do that, you can do double Darns instead. But not with the same rune options. Looks like double crab for Trundle. This is not contestable with sleeping under the tower. Just misses Bard, but the ward will spot him anyway. So the casters mentioned Lethality Virus, which is the current way he's played quite currently. It's what he's shown up over the last few days. There have been a few attack speed specials as well, and more traditional AD carry builds, but the lethality more successful and more defined in its role. Zico spending a lot of time under his tower. What is Gilius just gonna try and 1v1 him here? I don't see the outcome there. I don't think you can just quite do dragon just off getting a bit of ref on Trundle's red buff. It's fine. I think Movie Star Riders could have definitely started dragon there. Oh, they have started dragon. That will do. That's a good timing with their wave, and Gilius has rotated over. I'm not sure about Phase Rush with Syndra. I know it procs off the ultimate alone. So that counts as multiple spells, which is quite cute. I'd have to look up why you would choose different ones. I haven't looked at Syndra in a little while. Gilius trying to get Beansu. I think you lose that, my friend. After Dragon goes down, nearly all bot lanes rotate, and especially Avaris at level 6 will make the most of the Herald and like moving around the map. I don't see why you would try and rush something and give yourself the potential to be caught out there. The bot lane seemed to know it was coming and it had already started rotating, so maybe not communicated to Gilius. Nearly dead even in mid lane. Ariana picking up a little more utility. The Fairy Charm to sell back later. I don't think she'll be finishing that into anything. They have not cast the Rift Herald yet, which ideally should be going to mid lane, but the option to just blow it on top definitely still there. I'd like to see Bodme. They should know this is coming. Yeah. So Gilius didn't make much of level Lee 6 Lee 6 Lee Sin at level 6, the Lee 6. Oh dear. Gets him anyway, I guess. Unpunished. Another plate on middle, plate on bottom. Sorry, just pull a little bit further ahead. My top lane is back up to the top side, set up for Dragon the second, which I didn't actually see which sigil it was. And that was just out of view. Ocean Dragon, says the casters. I think both of those benefit Movistar more than Shulk. Like Cloud is definitely the most nuanced dragon. Like in a vacuum it's normally the worst, but when you've got like Trundle and Ornn, the soul definitely benefits them a lot more than it benefits Shulk. Sir Nuxalot will not be using his own movement speed, so we'll gain nothing from it. Some of the others you have to stand still for, like Lee Sin. Generally you can only move through flash when using it, so the cooldowns maybe on Syndra late game are quite significant, but otherwise I don't think that impactful. So it's Mountain on 3, so Mountain instead, which benefits Ornn the most, definitely. Helps Ezreal, since the Yuumi healing will be more effective healing. I think this is fine. I'm not... Let's get rid of this. I'm not super happy. Like, if I was coaching Schalke, I think this is quite unaligned. You've got Gilius at essentially a line of scrimmage. You've got a player coming off a back, another player backing, although he does have teleport. Like, they, even though there is nothing to play for on the map, they are not ready to contest anything with just these two. For all they know, Oriana could be like moving here soon or pathing here next. The double teleport is still there for both sides, so I'm not really sure what the aim is here. Like, are they just gonna low econ gangplank down here for a little while? It's oh, excuse me, frog throat. It just doesn't. Like, they could maybe be impacting the middle and get the most out of Gilius while his damage is still impactful. I don't see where this is going for them other than a low eco grind. That is maybe a little bit prophetic. It is needlessly forced. That top tower is not... So sure, the plates are gone now. Was that worth it? I think not for a mid laner and the jungle flash, support summoner, and a number of ultimates. I think if you're going to try and force at least in play, which is something we see quite commonly. Oh, Zico. That was a bit messy. If you're going to force at least in play, it's best to like know you've isolated someone, where Lee Sin becomes the most valuable by percentage of any fight, like damage contribution or so I think if Zico did hit that ult, it was probably a kill. But you can just continue to threaten that without using the cooldown. Sure, take the red buff for all it matters. So at this stage in the game, I'm thinking ornaments. Probably could have discussed this before. Ornn, of course, valuable not only for being the huge tank and CC bot he is, but awarding improved efficiency items to a team. I think it's going to be valuable on Trundle and Oriana for sure. It's either the Zhonya's or the Death Cap maybe. Depends what the Oriana builds. You can always go so flexible with it. For instance, I have not seen the... I don't think it's still called the Super Soaker, but the GLP. I haven't seen that before. Or I haven't seen it for a long time, I should say. Mid tower is toast. Gilius doing wolves. Not that... I mean... It is a common criticism that your junglers should be in time to help with things, but there was no helping that tower. So maybe wolves is fine, but... that was a bit gifted. Lots of summoners. Move Star Riders invest little, gain a dragon. It was just a bit of a sitter. I'm not sure. So sure, sleeping can scratch a T1, but again, you've traded a load of cooldowns essentially for a dumb mistake. I suppose in comparison to LPL this morning, a team like FPX, who played against EDG this morning of the day I'm watching this, traded objectives from a not great position just fine and just continued the ball rolling, which is something Schalke 4 are not doing. The ball is not rolling. They are sort of stuttering and shaking and not happy. There is... again... So even though Move Star Riders are not totally coordinated with backs, this looks like it's just going to be an ARAM in the top lane with people with teleport down here and people without teleport up here. It just doesn't make much sense to me. There are options here for sieging a sieging a tier 2 for Move Star Riders, but Schalke have just spread out and just said, "Oh, just farm a bit more, just carry on. With Baron up in a minute, we'll sort something out. We'll ward to make sure that they can't just do the pit and do it." But there's no proactive action here. I would like to see either something risky on the bot lane, but then you risk trading Baron. But then Sleeping does have his teleport up. It's difficult to know where to go from here because the Lee Sin did not take off. The Gangplank is, sure, he's farmed, but he's not ahead of the Ornn. He could maybe, pose a threat to Varus. That's about it. There's no way forward here other than farm a few more waves and just quote-unquote team fight as it comes. It's not organized or set together. It's just a bit messy. Let's look at the gold numbers, sure. So Gangplank a little ahead, as expected. Trundle massively ahead. Mid lane is nearly dead even, but then Syndra has to find a target, which at the moment can really only be Varus. If she catches Orianna, I don't think there's a way to kill Orianna here. Sure, flash up, so maybe that isn't true, but either one of them can be paired with Bard, and as we see them moving around here, the Bard is sort of, I don't know what Bard's doing, but Bard can be moving through the jungle with either of these characters and making this solo kill potential much lower. And I don't see how that contributes to Schalke 4's win conditions of pick someone and then team fight better with Gangplank Ezreal over a long period of time instead of a short period of time. But one shockwave and the threats are there from Movie Star Riders. I think you can just itemize whatever you want on Bard. Is this Dead Man's Plate first, maybe? So they have caught the Varus. Oh dear. So the tried to play Assassin Varus there for a minute. Sure. I'm not sure if Bard's flash was up, but maybe that could have been reacted to before the movement across, so the Bard could interrupt here or here if they were a bit more confident. With just slamming the arm, maybe in a way that allows Java to either not get one shot by Syndra or bail Java out. I don't think there was an extension to the fight. Beansuit doesn't have his teleport available. Gold has equalized for sure. That mid tower is going to take forever to kill. Are we at Dragon Soul already? Okay. So they concede the pit. If they are to contest this dragon, they need to do something about it within the next 60 seconds. Java goes wide and takes off his health bar. I think he'll live. Yeah. They get the tower for it, which is fine. Should allow them into the pit. Holy moly. That is... This sort of 1-by-1 problem is so pervasive. Java's so eager to position aggressively. It's not worth it if you're going to take damage. He's already stronger. You just need to chill out. Definitely good work from Neon. You wouldn't see many teams sort of step up to the plate on a play like that and get aggressive with the mid lane. They'd be like, oh no, we've got to, you know, try and find someone on the rotation to dragons. And the teleport away, reasonably clean. Good communication to know that that was the outcome. And there was no like plan to, you know, try and cheekily take away a member of Shock 4. Here we go. I think, yeah. Nimbus Cloak definitely helps the Oriana. I'm not sure they can safely contest this. Moves down, moving away from Baron. Maybe not necessary. You definitely don't ever have to opt into the 50-50 with Gilius. Beansu can turn him off quite reliably. So you can't smite while you're knocked up is the easiest way out of a 50-50 smite fight. So something we have seen more recently is the tribute item. I think that's what they're called. Essentially the support farms 2 item instead of hit spells being way more popular. If you have to think about it, normally it's that one instead of the... oh no, so the tribute is the spell hit one. Yeah, the also CSing item. There is a problem here. The also CSing item being more popular, the completes a bit quicker. So we've got some sort of unit of 3 here for Movistar, which is fine. But again, Java, is that how you say his name? Java? Looks like an S on mine. Let's take that up to 1080p so I can actually read the text on the screen. That'd be handy. So this is like ready to fight. The Syndra is quite valuable here because this line is very short. I hope it's capturing my mouse. Otherwise, I'm going to have to find a better solution for that in the future. But this sort of line here is really short. Like if you look at this fight, it's a larger circle. So these guys are looking for a way in here onto Jaya because these two don't otherwise have a lot of damage. Neon will be able to take out Lawyer even if it is a little more slowly than he would like. But Certus has a really short line. No flash, so this isn't lethal. This is lethal with flash. It's just so risky and so unnecessary when this is going on. Like, you don't need this position in the jungle. This is just so risky to maintain. You can just peel back, move around, and just hold a straight line. And with a straight line, like they've timed all the flashes. These people know what they're doing. Like, you can just play this safely, and then Varus Q will always be able to take away long cooldowns like Banshee's Veil, be able to like keep Gilius guessing and like keep the vision around these 2 sections more relevant. I don't see the need to be coming in here and doing this. It's like not throwing away an advantage, but you're risking throwing away an advantage just to get the feeling of advancing quickly, and I don't think this is a good idea or necessary. So surprise, surprise, Syndra can force that, and this position here is like either you go aggressive now or you have to leave it. Like jungle entrances onto lanes, always the same, always a point where things can go so wrong for you. So at least they didn't lose Java. Otherwise, this Baron contestant is all on Zico, and it gets really rough. You don't need to be eager here. So the play is definitely Baron. Baron Vision. What's the outcome? So already another jungle entrance onto mid lane. Movistar Riders maybe want to traverse this wall knowing that some members of Schalke have just cleared vision here or are standing on Movistar Riders' vision here. Certus is quite squishy. That Banshee's Veil is down. Java's been doing a good job of popping it on cooldown. Neon's probably not the choice. The Yuumi can maybe keep Certus alive anyway, so this is another risky play. But they are ready for it. They're in position. And the shockwave may be preemptive again. Maybe preemptive, definitely too preemptive. And it's not something you need to do till your jungler is ready. You don't have to progress this here. You've already found like priority in the mid lane. They've not started the Baron. There is no advantage to going fast here. So it's a 4v5 they've opted into. And sure, they have the Bard escape, but he's not stood with the pack. So that is one ultimate. We've seen many flashes. We've got flash out of Binsu. Like, Schalke have had to invest nearly nothing. Sure, Ezreal ulti. It's not the same as a real ultimate cooldown. It's not the same as, say, Jarvan's. It's just more damage, and it will come up quicker. And they're going to, like, generate more losses off of this. It's so arrogant to just assume that mid lane position. Sure, you can be really cheeky and get that pick, but again, the shockwave didn't land. It's time to chill out and run away. Reset, you know, make sure Eloya is relevant for the next fight, because he can't wave clear on his own. So this will make no outcome other than he'll have to sit there and watch when this is all said and done. So they have made it away, but there is, like, your opponents won't make the mistake that you're asking them will you make this mistake here, which is over this wall near the Raptors. I think that's so unnecessary. That works if the tower didn't hit. But I think it was just for an Oriana item, maybe. Maybe they want to finish the Morellos, but otherwise you can just freeze that wave there. There is no disadvantage here other than... Well, no, there is no disadvantage to keeping this wave here. Like, Gangplank has to farm this one. And you might as well deny another income source, because that will find its way back to Neon in about 3 minutes. Oh, that is rough. Gilius finds one, but he's pretty isolated. I think that is a bit bold. He's definitely tried to force too many times on this Lee Sin. I'm sure it works against unorganized players, but it is not the way to be thinking of doing this. So our jungler is doing jungle camps at 28 minutes. Gangplank is backing. So Schalke resetting, losing some priority on the map. I don't know why Certus has to clean this now. Could definitely let it kill another minion wave. The cannon was on that one as well, I think. Let's scoot back. So the cannon is here as well. So you don't lose many of these blue minions. You use 1 or 2 for, like, Movie Star Riders losing another 6 in the future. It is not a good idea to clear this wave. I mean, if it completes like what looks like a void stuff here, then sure. But I don't think Certus is going to base. I think he's just going to walk around. So Movie Star again looking for some sort of bush camp. They are again in dangerous positions. Sure, it can work if it works. Beansu does have the teleport available. So they are 2-0 teleport advantage, which is quite huge. But I don't see the need to just trade mana here. This does not advance your game state. How long is Elder? 17 seconds? So maybe a straight trade that Schalke have to opt into. That's Gangplank ulti, just to save face. Oh dear. How does this come around? So is this, so we know that Movie Star will collapse in here as if they're going for Elder. So they lose all vision, they just assume they're all standing in Elder Pit, like hands in hands. Movie Star Riders see this, I think, here. Someone stood right on the edge. Ah, they definitely saw it. So they see Sleeping Alone. I'm not sure if they see this. Maybe they just presume that they've opted into starting the Baron early, either through previous game information or just a spur of the moment call. Yumi's lucky to get away here. But this is an inhibitor breaking play, either through converting an Elder Dragon into a further advantage on mid lane. Oh, crikey. Neon absolutely eating it. Didn't use the barrier, which is a good thing. It would not have saved him. That is so rough. Gilius went down with Flash, which is something to think about. So, who are we missing? Oh, it's a Yumi. Never mind. I don't like... Oh, of course, Gangplank's out as well. Gilius can maybe walk up here, kick Aloya this way, and die. And that way the whole team doesn't go down. But like, this is already pretty scrubbed. There is no line by which he gets in here, W's backwards, kicks Java forwards, and Java dies before Aloya and Binsu commit to this team and deal enough damage, or Zico does enough damage to make this not worth it. So maybe along that line of thinking, he comes backwards, gets knocked up after a grouping, and casts no more skills. I think a kick away there at the front, and then a splitting of Movie Star Riders if he doesn't die immediately by running this way. But that's a moment-to-moment thing. There's not much to be made out of that. I think Binsu can just laugh at Certus and just stand next to him for the rest of the game now. There's no... So Sleeping doesn't see this. Till now. He's pathing really weirdly. Like, at this stage, the dragon still isn't up. This is super preemptive. Like, Movie Star Riders will not all be sat there just laughing in voice comms, like, for the next 10 seconds, like, oh, guys, they've traded for Baron. They have time to reach this. It's so greedy. There you go. Clean the map. So, which ornaments have we seen? None yet for Trundle, which kind of sucks. But this build is fine. He's approaching the unkillable phase. Is that a super... No, it is not a supercharged Dead Man's Plate. It's just an orange corner on the item. I do like the support items on Ornn after the first two. The theory behind this being that after these two items are complete, this character is never going to die unless you make a different mistake, which would have killed you, you know, even if you were full build and 10k gold ahead. So you might as well commit to these 5v5 items and use your gold more efficiently. Always keep up on wards. And the character is just more efficient. Also helps your AD carry feel less bad about this Dead Man's Plate stuff going on down here. So I think at this stage Schalke have given up. Maybe not as a this is over sort of thing, but they're small inconsequential errors. You can't analyze that and tell someone, oh, you've got to improve this to something. They just are on tilt. I don't even think they need more minions or anything. This is just finished. Gotta love the Elder Baron execute. So the big thing to take away from this for me, so I haven't watched EU Masters since its inception years ago. The big highlights were that level 4 is way too far back. 6. So I think that's fine. So the Ezreal is maybe a threat here. And we did see it once or twice with Java going down and starting to throw a little bit. So I'm waiting for his deaths to appear. Because the second one was on top lane, but the first one was under the mid T2. Quite far into the game. Oh, so maybe this one came first. But like this sort of play is just unnecessary from a macro standpoint. There is no advantage to being cheeky and trying to pick off Syndra. Now, it feels really good, because after you've killed the Syndra, what you do next is really obvious, and you've generated a large advantage. But there is no need to risk these sorts of things, and especially with a fight around Northside red buff. You don't need to risk these things or position in jungle entrances that are really risky, especially into Lee Sin and Syndra comps. Like, it is very risky with your opening advantage to try these sorts of things, and Schalke 4 never ended up capitalizing, even when they did win those small fights. I guess it wasn't quite enough to put down the slightly superior Movistar Riders comp. I'm not sure. Sort of, Gilius never took off for all his Lee Sin goddery. It just wasn't worth picking Lee Sin here. The 2v2 in the middle did not work out. 20 minutes, Ariana 0 deaths, 10 farm down, doesn't matter. I think this was largely inconsequential, this game. So we'll go to the next game. Big takeaways, I guess. You don't need to force things early. So this is the same week in which LS did a large stream with some professional Magic players and world champions about colors. So there are elements of blue on this team, and as such, I don't see the need for Lee Sin to sort of lock down an early game. You are committing to something that does not make you stronger. This could have maybe been a Sejuani, which wouldn't have been great. Which jungler would I like to see on the side of Schalke 4? I think Kindred is like the high roll here, because there is nothing quite like making this Ezreal even stronger. Kindred's also really strong this patch and can keep up with Trundle in many ways. So the cute little 1v1 we saw over the Dragon Wall with Gilius when he did half of Trundle's health, and then Trundle went and did Dragon anyway. Kindred can definitely either commit or not commit to that fight and actually kill the Trundle, or can just hold the river in a better fashion than Lee Sin can. I don't know if Gilius plays Kindred, but frankly he should. This patch has not changed for a little while now. Also synergizes with the Yuumi quite well. They can hunt together. Maybe there are better picks. It's not coming straight to my mind. I can't remember what was banned and not banned at this stage. In fact, you know what? Let's go and look. Let's have a finished draft screen. Gragas would be fantastic. That was banned away. Set would have been okay, not fantastic. Yeah, I don't think this is correct. Sure, like, when they pick this 2 here, that's fine. This is, like, red, quote-unquote, to use the terminology in Magic the Gathering terms. So this gets aggressive, plays linearly, it goes middle, surprise, and it kills the mid lane. Movistar Riders know this and just pick blue. Like, the Trundle will start strong and only get stronger. There is no disadvantage to him playing this. There is no anti-heal here. There is nothing here that like damages him outside of his teammates going down in fights. Like, to kill this Trundle with these champions, you have to kill the Varus, and then you have to also surround the Trundle and whittle him down, or you have to get something cheeky with Syndra when he's on his own. It is not a consequence of the Trundle. It would be a consequence of player action. And, like, the way they just choose these champions is in isolation. Like, this is a reply to these two. This is a reply to nothing in particular, because the bot lane has not posed a challenge. It doesn't exist yet. It's just strong on its own. So the Bard is, like, fine. I'm not sure what Schalke can pick when they get to this stage, when they have a blue-green top laner who will grow and become strong on his own. Like, a mid lane that needs to fight. So they've told Movistar Riders, hi, we're going middle. This isn't, like, something you can opt in or out of. It can't gank the Gangplank successfully without Eloya making a mistake. It can't gank the bot lane without like struggling significantly in the 3v3 because the support is not a target. The AD carry will be isolated, fingers crossed. It's just not proactive in a way forwards. Like, to win this game, Ezreal has to get fed. Syndra has to get fed. For Movie Star Riders to win this game, nothing has to happen. They just have to play forwards. They have to play standard rotations. They have to not get picked out. They have to not throw advantages away like they maybe did a little bit in the mid game with the red north fight and the one coming, which way is east? Southeast of mid lane. Like, without those mistakes, this team comp will not lose the game. So I don't really see how this gets ahead. It's just an okay draft. I don't like a thought experiment. What could I do to change the bot lane? This could have been Leona. I'm not sure if it would have killed the bot. Oh, no. It could not have been Leona. So maybe that's part of the last draft when they pull away. So they pull away the Tom from Shulk, because that's even better than Bard in this situation. Pull away the Thresh. I'm not sure why they pull away the Thresh. But Movie Star Riders know they could do something proactive with Leona or Nautilus. So another proactive support. They could have just not banned Thresh here and seen if they want to play Thresh on this side. And then maybe a Braum. I think Braum is fine on this lane. Maybe Braum Lucian would have done better. Negate some of Ornn's power. So yeah, I think I'd have made this Braum Lucian instead of Ezreal Yuumi in hindsight. But hindsight is a wonderful thing. So that'll do for Movie Star Riders versus Shulk 4, the first game of EU Masters 2020. Thank you very much for watching.